lot of us do. Been left sit there and decay like a lot of us do. Let's walk down this way a little bit and see this side of it. I can tell you a lot of stories about this mill.
Let me go back to Hicken real quick.
I love the smell inside of it.
Okay.
Seemed like it was clear out of Heber to come here. It was so far away from where we lived. We'd ride the horse down to the north field. We'd come down this way on this street and then pass on and go down this road to the north fields. This is the, we'd come here to get the feed, and sometimes we'd come down in the pickup truck and load a big bunch of feed on. One time, Neil had the truck and loaded with feed, and at noon he picked it up from the mill, from the school, and then drove it home after school. And as he got ready to go, Joe, who was only 7, climbed up on the back of the truck and was laying up on the feed. And as they went to turn the corner, Joe flew off and landed on his head. I suspect that's what's made him so smart. I don't know. I know I went in and prayed about him because I thought he was going to end up being like the children down in the training school and that his brain would be ruined. But somehow or other it knocked all his smart into his head. He had to wear a helmet on his head. They had to, for a long time they had to dig gravel out of his scalp to get it all clean from gravel. But I always remember that because I associate that with the fact that the truck was loaded with feed and it had come from the mill. Every Christmas, Grandma would send me down here to the mill to get some soda pop. They carried cases of soda pop. They were in wooden cases. We'd get orange and root beer, and that's when we had that treat for Christmas. Sometimes we'd find one of those big bottles of soda pop in our stocking on Christmas morning. I wasn't too old when I realized that, you know, Grandpa was kind of helping to fill that stocking. But here stands the Hicken Feed and Produce. Grandpa and Grandma Hicken ran it. They would take feed to the farmers, just like a doctor. Sometimes in the middle of the night he'd get a call that somebody was low on feed, and he'd pack up the truck and take the feed to the person, and then he'd let them charge it. A lot of times he had people who had so much charging, he said, I can't let the animals starve, so he'd see to that they could still get feed. And then every year Grandpa and Grandma would pack a whole thing with flour, wheat, things like that, and take them to a lot of the widows and people who really needed help. He left a lot of feed on people's doorsteps. There's good people. So that's kind of an eyesore now in the valley, but it didn't used to be.